Well, howdy, folks. I am actually still alive. Can you imagine? It's been a pretty long summer. I pretty much went into hibernation mode for the last, well, geez, I think since basically May. This garage was kind of a no man's land, just covered in dust, complete disarray. It was, no one was coming in here for about 4 months because we were like in the 110, 115s area. And it's just now starting to get nice again in Phoenix. It was 108 on Thursday, and then yesterday we had like a major flooding storm. Temperatures dropped 15 degrees. It's now 78 degrees in this garage. I haven't seen it under 100 in quite a while. But I did kind of manage to clean this place up a little bit a couple weekends ago, and it was nicer. I'm kind of really itching to get back onto bikes. It's been a while. I kind of took a little break. So, I thought for this video I'd just kind of go over my garage and what's going on and what my intentions are for this winter. All right, I think I'm gonna start this video with kind of a garage tour. So like I mentioned, this place was a complete disaster and just covered in dust for most of the summer. I didn't even come out here. I had to tiptoe kind of through because it was just in complete disarray. So I think this may be the cleanest I've ever had in my garage and the most organized. I don't really know what I could do to improve this. I've got pretty much every wall and floor space occupied. Let's start over here. So this rack right here of bikes was originally in my office. I kind of just used it as a display. And I moved it out here because during the summer, I got really into vintage audio repair. So I was buying up 1970s receivers that were broken and kind of fixing them and learning about them. So I moved this out here early on, like, maybe May or so. So I've got 4 bike projects up here. I've got a rigid project. I've got a swing arm project. I've got my 59 Bonneville project, and I've got another old chrome rigid project back there. This is the year I'm finally going to get my Born Free bike back up and running again. So this is a 51 Triumph that I built for Born Free back in 2019. So there's some old videos of this online. But what happened one day, I just about got the dang thing jetted perfect, and the motor seized up on me. I got really kind of defeated and didn't touch it for a couple years. Then a couple years I popped it open, discovered that the crank had completely seized, which wasn't good. And then I kind of left it alone again. So good news, this is priority this year to get this back. I've actually already sent the crank to AJ Richter, so he has that. Over here, I have got the iron. This is the 59 Bonneville project I had kind of left off with. So it is completely disassembled right now. I sent the head to AJ Richter. Over here's the motor. So this thing got hammered pretty good. There were some loose valve guides and things like that. I mean, the motor's a little chewed up. Something was spinning around in there. I kind of think it was possibly the breather for the cam, because there wasn't one in there, which is odd. And then I discovered that it was running, let's see, what are these? Well, they're Harman and Collins cams. I looked them up. They're drag race cams, so this thing must have been an absolute beast, and honestly probably not even fun to drive on the street. I'm going to change these to half race cams. So I'm slowly getting on the motor here. So this bike and bad timing over there are my main priorities for the winter to get going on. I really would like to get them both done within a year. We'll see if that happens. I also started kind of fiddling around with my 49 pan head that I've had for a couple years. I kind of decided what direction I'm going to go with it. I've got a bait seat, and I'm going to change the, basically I'm just doing kind of a cut down. I mean, I'm just stripping it down to a mild custom. I'm changing the wheels to an 18 rear and a 19 front. Right now I'm keeping that wide glide front end. I'm on the hunt for some Flanders bars, but I kind of got the vibe. I want to go with that. I've been sitting on this bike for like almost 10 years, and I think it's time to finally get going. I really, really need a highway bike. So those 3 bikes are kind of my priorities right now. A couple more bikes up in storage. There's a 58 TR6. I've got my 64 T100 SC, and I've got another 64 TR6 up there. Down here I've got that roached out rigid bike, the Jim Decker Preunit. I'd like to get on that probably next year. I'm going to do a restoration on that, but a restoration as how it used to be, not a restoration back to stock. So that was an old hill climber bike. Well, not hill climber, just a off-roading bike back in Hemet, California, and it kind of lived its life in the Arizona desert as a lawn ornament for 40 years, and I picked that up, what was it, a year and a half ago now? I've got my 68 T100, which, future project. I've got me and Max's camping bikes, which we didn't really use this much this year, which is kind of unfortunate. And over here I've got my mains. I've got my 64 TR6. I just took that for a ride 2 weekends ago with my buddy Matt, who blew a hole in his piston, so we had to cut our ride short. So I'm going to try to do that ride solo maybe this weekend. So this will be my second ride of the season. I've got my 55 sled, which I haven't even started yet, but I know it'll start. I've got my 67 T100 sled, which I did manage to take out for a ride back in April. I went to Tucson, kind of a solo ride. That was super fun. I've got the Candyman Beezer sled, which I've been working on and then kind of just stopped because getting parts for this requires ordering parts out of the UK. And now because of this administration and tariffs, I'm probably going to hold off on this for a little bit. I honestly just need to take the gearbox out and redo all of that because it's just a mess. It's just spinning around things that shouldn't be spinning. And then I've got good old Mental Revenge here. I think it's the 61. I keep saying it's 62. But I finished this, gosh, last winter, I think. Maybe even 2 winters ago. I'm starting to lose track of time here, people. I just started this one, was cruising around on that. So this one's good to go. It's a fun kind of a bar hopper. I wouldn't say it's a long distance bike whatsoever. So here's probably one of my best purchases of the last couple months. I got myself an electric leaf blower. I've been needing one around the house forever, but now it lives in the garage because every time I come out here I can just zap all the dust and weeds out, and it just keeps this place clean because I have a major dust and leaf problem that constantly comes in here. Here's my little attempt to kind of stop some of it. So this thing has been one of the best investments I've ever bought. Alright, so right now I'm inside the travel trailer, which kind of flooded because our dome cracked. But this is the other thing I bought. I got this for 50 bucks on Marketplace. Right now it's drying out the trailer, but it lives in the garage normally. I bought it to throw some air in the garage, but kind of all it did was blow hot air on me, so it really didn't do too much. I also bought it to keep the mosquitoes off me, which we have, you know what, I don't think a lot of people realize how bad mosquitoes are in Phoenix, but they're pretty bad. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a fan so I can keep those damn mosquitoes off me. And those damn little mosquitoes act like there's not even a problem. They're just like, whatever, dude, I'm gonna bite you 40 times. I think next year I'm gonna try to get an actual evap cooler running. But for now I have a fan, finally. I guess one of the last things I'm gonna mention is I did put myself a nice little entertainment system out here. This is a You know, this is probably my worst receiver I put out here, and works just fine. I think I've paid 20 bucks for it. It's an old Scott. And those are my old speakers, some crappy Fishers, but out here it's fine. I don't mind if they get roached out. But now I have some good tunes. Like I mentioned, I spent my summer kind of getting into vintage audio. So here's my setup now. You know, I just really got into fixing a lot of this stuff up. So I already had the record player, and I had this Pioneer receiver, but you know, this is just a sample of what I picked up. I was really scoping Marketplace out for a long time, trying to find the good deals. This has become kind of my main. It's a Sony V5, STR V5. I've also got a Kenwood that I restored. I've got a Toshiba, and I've got another Sansui 2000X. And then I've got a host of others in my office. I finally picked up some Grail speakers. These are Pioneer HPM 100s, and these are Polk Monitor 10Bs. Everything sounds just fantastic. Been really getting into record collecting again. My main interest is death metal. I'm sure a lot of you are big death metal heads. That's a joke. But anyway, there's kind of my setup. And here's Dottie Dog, of course. How are you doing, Dottie? Did I wake you up? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. My main priorities, again, are my 59 Bonneville, the Iron, my 51 Bad Timing, and the Harley. And then I need to get all these other bikes done for maintenance, like oil changes, just lots of little checks. Everything needs a little something. You know how it goes if you own these. I don't know how often I'm going to be uploading videos, but, you know, I kind of enjoy it, so hopefully fairly often. So everybody, thanks for watching.